Hello Indie Game fan, I'm going back to August with BitSummit 2022, a small event held in Kyoto, Japan, with a whole bunch of indie games such as King's Gauntlet, Chess Revolution, a competitive shoot 'em up where you choose from a variety of playable kings and start blasting away at your opponent, being able to summon chess pieces to help, and looks amazing.
Checkmate!
A neat looking title is 502's Arcade, a collection of small, fast-paced arcade games that spans across many genres, from a top-down action game, one that looks like Super Crate Box, and even a wonderful puzzle game in a potion shop, looking very varied and fun. I featured ANTONBLAST on this channel in the past, being a Wario-style 2D platformer that looks great, with both foreground and background movement, as well as having to get to the end of the level, hit a button and run all the way back while escaping explosions, looking great as well. Being an event in Japan, there will of course be a whole bunch of Japanese titles where Cassette Boy is of interest, and while I do not read Japanese myself, the art style and colour palette and overworld exploration looks right up my alley. Another Japanese title is Crystarise, an open-world action-adventure RPG that gives you the ability to construct and upgrade your own sky island with a great pixel art look. I don't usually cover mobile games on the channel, but I do have to admit, HARMA does look pretty sick, a roguelite deck building RPG with fantastic pixel art, but I hope it gets an English language version someday.
everyone has a hat. And if your hat gets killed, you die. Will you be brave enough to use your life source as a weapon?
King of the Hat has been in development for quite some time, where this hilarious trailer for the local multiplayer party game just reeks of awesomeness, so go drop them a wishlist at the very least.
Very serious, very ultra hat-based game. Will you have what it takes to become king of the hat?
An awesome looking game is Maid Cafe at Electric Street, a management sim RPG where you're running such an establishment, having to manage the staff and take care of customers, and are also able to go explore the city, such as going shopping for comics and games, going into an arcade, and more. An amazing looking adventure exploration title is Melon Journey Bittersweet Memories, set in a town full of weird animals where there might be something darker lurking under the surface with crime and corruption, but I don't think it's a horror game. MINDHACK is a fantastic looking visual novel where you enter the minds of criminals, hacking it and turning it into a flower garden with some of the best hand animations that I've ever seen in the game. Ninja or Die is a pixel art roguelike platformer that looks good, a little too busy visually but impressive nonetheless, with what looks to be a large variety in characters and action. One of the more interesting games on the list is Soup Raider, a game that has real-time tactical combat which is very unique, where the art and setting does look good as well.
An evil extraterrestrial corporation rules the Earth, exploring humans and natural resources. Meanwhile, a group formed by high-skilled pilots opposes such repression and horror. The devious alien leaders try to stop it, but the rebellion is off and running. Here comes the Squad 51 versus the Flying Saucers.
With a very long but impressive trailer for Squad 51 vs the Flying Saucers, a horizontal shoot-'em-up title that has a 1950s sci-fi movie aesthetic, down to the animation which is impressive, where they went to the effort of filming FMV cutscenes.
Join the squadron while the rebellion spreads around the world. Fly over mountains, oceans, deserts, cities, and much more. Eliminate gigantic spaceships by destroying their ionic energy nucleus. And experience the terror of facing 6 special bosses, including the fearsome Planetary Annihilator. All of it through a new dimension in scientific accurate gameplay.
There's nowhere to run anymore. The best we can do is keep out of sight.
With cutscenes so realistic you won't believe it until you play it.
They're coming!
Yes, they are! In an incredible journey of pure excitement. With full stereophonic sound and astonishing graphics presented in Lumiscope.
A very curious title is Tiny Tengu Tactics, a kind of janky but interesting looking game where controlling a squad of 2D characters in somewhat realistic environments, looking so weird but neat as well.
Hello, we are Nicologic, and we are making a fun little battler we want to share with the world. It's based in a fantasy feudal Japan with cute mythical creatures on a tiny scale. There's menacing monsters, Tengu captains, hire your soldiers, head out to a village and take on a contract, get the monsters, and get paid. This is Tiny Tengu Tactics. We hope you enjoy.
One of the highlights for me was Tokyo Underground Killer, a neon first-person shooter where you play as a deadly assassin, where the action looked super slick, reminding me of games like Ghost Runner
Residents found outside their homes will be shot on sight.
or Bright Memory, making this of interest. The top 5 begins with Mag's Monster, a turn-based JRPG with a structure that I've not seen before, where your party comprises of the little girl Mag and a monster with 99999 HP. The monster has to do its best to protect the little girl, since if she cries, the world ends, so it's this kind of asymmetry that makes it quite different from other games in the space. The art, of course, does remind me of Undertale or Earthbound, but frankly, much nicer looking, so do look out for this release next month. A wacky and very fun-looking local multiplayer title is Topple Top Bungee Blockbusters, one that does resemble Tetris, or more specifically, Tricky Towers, with the physics applied to the Tetriminos, where the 4-player competitive mode sure looks like chaos. The writing seems lighthearted and humorous as well, with a whole bunch of modes included, looking great with friends. Channel subscribers will be familiar with Cassette Boy, a pixel art action platformer that I think looks absolutely fantastic, joining a new wave of retro games like Shovel Knight, or more recently, Panzer Paladin, but does have a twist on it. You're essentially a super-powered high school kid with the power of baseball, having to defeat your brainwashed fellow students who are experts in their own fields, where doing that will grant you their ability or power-up Mega Man style. It was successfully funded on Kickstarter, so here's wishing the team all the best with development. One of the best looking 3D fighters in development is Varvarion, which I believe is being made by a solo Japanese developer, where in addition to the 1v1 fighting game mode, there is a PvE mode as well where you face off against AI controlled enemies. The core 3D fighting action does look great, making this of interest to fans of the genre. I really love the look of After Image, which has made it high on my watch list ever since I came to know of this game, where it had a tremendously successful Kickstarter campaign as well, so fingers crossed the action holds up, where you can watch this video for my recommendations of the best Metroidvanias you can play right now.